helped so many families through their home buying process, from getting their credit together to negotiating tough deals and celebrating their triumphs at closing. I've watched my clients and my friends achieve the American dream through home ownership. I've seen them generate equity like a boss, all while feeling like an imposter. Here's the truth. I am a very successful real estate agent in Hampton Roads, but I'm currently renting my home. You heard me. The home I currently live in is not my own home. I'm currently renting. And before you click away thinking that I can't help you because I don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain why this actually makes me the perfect person to have this real conversation with you about renting versus buying. You see, I've been on both sides of the equation. I've walked hundreds of families through the home buying processes. I've celebrated with them at closing tables. I've watched them build equity and stability. I've even written a book about home ownership God's way and how to help you amass wealth through real estate. But I've also lived the renting life, and today I want to share the brutal truth about both sides, the numbers that will shock you, and the roadmap that can help you change your family's financial future forever. And if you're in the military, if you're self-employed, if you've had credit challenges, or if you're just tired of building someone else's wealth while you're stuck in the rental trap, then this video is for you, friends. Because if I can be honest about my own journey, I can absolutely help you with yours. I'll be honest, for years I felt like a fraud. Here I was helping people achieve the homeownership dream every single month, and then I'd go home to my rental house. The imposter syndrome was real. I looked at my colleagues and I felt like I didn't fit in with them. I didn't feel like I was good enough because I couldn't have the home parties or the pool parties or have client events at my home that I actually owned, so I can show off the amazing home that a career in real estate often affords you. Let me ask you, have you ever made a financial decision that you regretted? If you can relate, and if I'm not just on this video talking to myself, drop a comment and let me know that I'm not alone in this. Here's the thing, y'all. Renting is always an option, and it can be a good option when it's your best option. But in this video, what I'm gonna talk to you about today is how you can determine if renting or buying is going to be best for you. It's very individual. So let's get into it.
Now, just because I had some regrets, I don't want y'all to think that I want you to just go out and buy a house tomorrow. Because let me be completely honest about when renting actually makes sense. Because sometimes renting does make sense. And I want you to make the right decision for your situation, not based on what somebody else tells you or what other people have. We have to get out of that comparison gap, okay? So let's talk about it. When does it really make sense to rent? One reason is when you're on a short-term military assignment. If you're only going to be stationed here for 18 months to 2 years or so, the transaction cost of buying and selling might eat up any equity that you'd see. And the general rule is that you probably need to stay in a home for 3 to 5 years to make buying a home financially beneficial for you. Now, another time when renting might make more sense is when you're in active credit repair mode. Y'all hear me. Just because you can buy a house with a 580 credit score doesn't mean you should. If your credit score is below 580, or if you recently filed for bankruptcy, or if you're actively working through debt consolidation, it might make sense to rent while you get your financial house in order. But, and this is crucial, you need to be actively working on it with a timeline and not just hoping and wishing and praying that your credit gets better. Now, another reason is when you're testing out a neighborhood. Maybe you're new to Hampton Roads and you want to get a feel for different areas before you actually commit. That might be a smart decision if you're not from here, but set a timeline, maybe 12 to 18 months max, so that you can figure out where you actually want to plant your roots. Now, another huge reason to rent is if you're not ready for the maintenance responsibilities. Home ownership comes with a lot of repairs, a lot of maintenance, and honestly, unexpected expenses. If you're not emotionally or financially ready for that responsibility, then renting is going to give you the landlord's safety net. Because trust me, when you become a homeowner, those are your problems and not someone else's. And we have things in place like home warranties, etc. But trust me, owning a home is definitely not cheap. Finally, if you have a job or income uncertainty or instability, if you're not confident in your income stability, you might be changing careers. Renting is going to provide you the flexibility that home ownership doesn't. Now, here's what I want you to understand. If you're renting just because you're scared of the home buying process, or because you think you need a perfect credit score, or because you're just not educated on the process, these are all things that we can overcome. I don't want you to wait for the right time, like I was waiting for the right time, because honestly, it could be a costly decision for you, and I don't want that to happen to you. If you don't believe me, that's fine, because guess what? I'm about to break it down for you. I'm going to show you the real numbers, the real cost of what not purchasing that home back then has cost me since then. So let's get into it.
So have you been thinking about relocating to Hampton Roads, Virginia? I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it down below. From top employers, the best hospitals, and a boatload of other things that you need to know before making the move to Hampton Roads. And the best part, guys, it is 100% free. That's right, you heard me, it's 100% free. So just click on the link in the description or the top pinned comment. I hope it helps. God bless you. If you're watching this, I hope that you can see my heart. Because a few years back, my husband and I got approved for a mortgage, and like many of you, we faced disappointment. Now, my dream house at the time was about $650,000, and I had the income, and I was ready to sign the papers. But when we got the approval, we were only approved for about $300,000, and y'all, I lost my mind. I had my heart set on something much bigger, something much better, and a $300,000 approval was absolutely not going to do it. So what had happened was my husband was actually working a traditional 9-to-5 at the time. And because of a few little blemishes on my credit and being self-employed as a realtor, the lender didn't want to add me to the application. They just wanted to use my husband's profile and add me to the deed after we closed. And I was like, nah, bro, we're not about to do that. I was devastated. And friends, I'll admit to you, I had a big old tantrum. And I decided at that time that if I could not have my dream house that had my in-ground pool in the backyard, I didn't want a house at all. I was going to continue to wait for the perfect opportunity. I was going to wait for the perfect credit score, the perfect everything. And let me tell you, looking back, that was probably one of the worst decisions that I could have ever made. Let me show you the numbers. If we had just purchased that $300,000 home back then, do you know what that home would be worth today? Based on Hampton Roads appreciation rate, that home would now be worth over $414,676. That's $114,000 plus in equity that we gave up because I was waiting for the perfect home. But it gets worse, because over the past few years, we've paid over $100,000 in rental payments. So the total opportunity of waiting for my dream home has nearly cost us $215,000. Let that sink in for a minute. The dream home that I was waiting for that was $650,000, it's now worth over $822,000. And if I just bought that starter home, I could have used the equity toward my dream home, and I would have only needed to finance a little bit more money to buy that dream home. So friends, let me tell you, waiting for the perfect home has cost me more than just money. It's cost me my peace of mind. It's cost me stability, and the emotional toll has been unreal. And this is why I'm the perfect person to have this real in-depth conversation with you. I'm not speaking from a place of you should do what I did, but I'm speaking from a place of I really want you to learn from my mistakes and look at the real numbers, because I want to break it down for you in a way that absolutely makes sense. So even though the decision to either buy a home or rent a home is emotional, I want to share some data with you, because numbers don't have emotions. They don't lie. They tell the truth. And I actually pulled the actual MLS rental data for the last 6 months. And here's what families are actually paying to rent a home right now. Now, Norfolk had 932 rentals with an average cost of $2,037 a month. Virginia Beach had 1,356 rentals with an average cost of $2,268 a month. And Chesapeake had 462 rentals with an average of $2,326 rental cost per month. Now, the other Hampton Roads cities like Hampton, Newport News, Portsmouth, and Suffolk, they typically fall somewhere in this range as well. Most are averaging between $1,800 and $2,200 a month in rent. Now, here's where it gets interesting for our military families. Let me show you how your 2025 BAH compares to what people are actually paying. Now, based on the information that I have at this time, here's what the BAH rates actually look like. Now, for the Norfolk and Portsmouth BAH area, an E4 with dependents gets $2,154 a month. That means you could rent in Norfolk and actually pocket about $179 a month. Now, an E5 with dependents gets $2,325 a month, and that's $350 a month more than Norfolk median's rent. An E6 with dependents is gonna get $2,469 a month. So you're looking at about $474 a month extra. Now for the Hampton and Newport News BAH area, these rates are slightly lower. An E4 with dependents gets about $2,019 a month. An E5 with dependents gets about $2,184 a month. And an E6 with dependents gets about $2,265 a month. Do you see what's happening here? Most military families are getting BAH that's more than what they need to rent. But instead of pocketing that difference, what if you put it toward building your wealth instead of your landlord's wealth? See, with current mortgage rates at about 6.44% here in Hampton Roads, let's look at what those BAH payments could actually buy you. If we're looking at, let's say, a $300,000 home with a VA loan and zero down payment, your cost would approximately be $1,850 to $1,950 per month, including your taxes and insurance. That's less than the median rent in Norfolk, and it's significantly less than Virginia Beach or Chesapeake. A $350,000 home would cost you somewhere from $2,150 to $2,250 a month. That's still less than most E5s and above are getting in BAH. A $400,000 home would be roughly $2,450 to $2,550 per month, and that fits comfortably in an E6 or O3's BAH's allowance. But here's what your landlord isn't telling you, friends. Rent increases in Hampton Roads have been averaging 11.2% year over year. Some areas are seeing increases of 18% or more. So your rent at $2,195 today could be $2,500 next year. Meanwhile, if you own your home, your mortgage payment is going to stay the same for 30 years. Do you see why it makes sense? In Hampton Roads, home values have been appreciating 3 to 4% annually. The average home sold for $391,477 in 2024, which was a 6.5% increase since 2023. So let me paint you a picture. You're an E5 with dependents getting $2,325 a month in BAH. You rent a place in Virginia Beach for $2,195. You pocket $130 a month. That's $1,560 a year. Not bad, right? But what if instead you bought a $320,000 home? Your mortgage would be $2,100. You're actually saving $225 a month compared to renting. And you're building equity as that home appreciates. In just 1 year, you could gain $12,800 in equity appreciation, plus the $2,700 that you saved on payments. That's over $15,000 in 1 year alone. The mathematical truth is this: every month you rent when you could buy, you're not just missing out on building equity, you're actually losing money. For many military families, your BAH is not only enough to cover a mortgage payment, it's enough to cover a better home than what you're currently renting while building wealth for your family's future. So friends, listen, I hope these numbers make sense, because if you're ready to start building generational wealth for your family, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what's actually holding you back. But here's the thing, I've got your back. No matter what your questions are, there's no dumb question, and I'm here to help walk you through this every single step of the way. All you have to do is get in touch.
Okay, now friends, of course, I don't want you guys to think that just because renting costs me money, that you should rush out and try to buy a house tomorrow. That is absolutely not the point of this video, because buying the wrong house or buying before you're truly prepared can be even more devastating than renting long term. Now, let me tell you about one of my clients that absolutely broke my heart, because her story illustrates why preparation and education are so crucial to successful home ownership. Now, she was an amazing young lady, a single mom who was working in Norfolk, and she was so excited to buy her first home. I mean, this literally was a game changer for her. She's been renting for years, and she was really ready to build something for her and her son. We found her this little cute house in Suffolk. It was a great price, a great neighborhood, and everything looked good on paper. But here's where things went wrong. My client didn't really understand what it meant to commute from Suffolk to Norfolk every day. That was $6 to $10 or more in tolls every day, plus gas, plus the wear and tear on her car. And we were talking like an extra $200 a month just in commuting costs that she had not budgeted for. Let's not talk about all the other things that actually went wrong. Now, there was other costs that she wasn't prepared for either. Higher electric bills because the space was a little bit larger. Now she had to pay for her own lawn maintenance. The small repairs that started adding up for just little things that she had to upkeep in her house. And what was an affordable mortgage payment suddenly became overwhelming when you add in the true cost of home ownership. Y'all, I hate to say it, but within 18 months, she was struggling financially. The stress was affecting her job, her relationship with her kids, everything. And unfortunately, she ended up losing the house foreclosure because she did not talk to me about what her options were. And it was absolutely preventable. But here's what I learned from her experience and what I want you to understand. It's not enough that you can just qualify for a mortgage. You really need to be truly prepared for the full financial and emotional responsibilities of home ownership. That means not just understanding your mortgage payment, but your total monthly housing costs as well. This includes your taxes, your insurance, your maintenance, your utilities, and yes, even commuting costs if you're changing locations. So this is why I always tell my clients now that it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. It's better to wait 6 or more months to do it right than rush into something that could devastate you later on. When I tell you my client was devastated about losing her house, she was devastated. But when you are prepared, when you fully understand the true cost, and when you're ready for the responsibility, that's when home ownership becomes the wealth building, family stabilizing force that it's always been created to be. And let me now show you what that actually looks like.
Now, let me tell you about the flip side, because there are so many success stories that remind me why home ownership is still the foundation of the American dream. Now, research shows that children of homeowners are 116% more likely to graduate college than children of renters. Now, think about that for a moment. Home ownership doesn't just build financial wealth, but it builds educational and social capital for your children. When you own your home, your kids can put down roots. They can paint their room their favorite color. They can have friends over without worrying about landlord or community restrictions. And most importantly, they have stability. They know this is their home, not just a place that they're staying temporarily. Let me tell you, as somebody who's moved a lot, that means the world to a kid. The median net worth difference between homeowners and renters is actually staggering. Homeowners have a median net worth that's 40 times higher than renters. That's not because homeowners are smarter or because they work harder. It's because home ownership forces you to build equity instead of just paying someone else's bills. And for our military families, home ownership provides an anchor. Even when you PCS, you can keep the home as a rental property, building passive income for your family's future. Your BAH doesn't disappear when you own. It goes toward building your wealth instead of building someone else's wealth. Now, our Hampton Roads market has been incredibly stable. We're not experiencing the wild swings that other markets see because our economy is anchored by federal contracts, the port, tourism, and expanding medical services. Home values here have appreciated consistently, and experts predict 3 to 4% annual appreciation continuing into 2025 and beyond. There are also significant tax advantages: the mortgage interest deduction, property tax deductions, and if you're military, the potential for tax-free gain if you sell after living in the home for 2 of the last 5 years. These advantages can save military families thousands of dollars annually. One of the things I love is really working with military families, especially if they should rent or if they should buy, or how long they're going to be stationed. So if you're ready to buy now, or if you need time to prepare like so many people are doing, let me give you the exact roadmap that's going to get you from renting to having the keys to your own dream home. So if you're watching this far, more than likely you're ready to buy a house now, but you may need some time to prepare. And I honestly want to give you a practical roadmap. Now, of course, when we sit down and talk about it together, I can create a plan that's going to be strategic for you based on your current situation. But here's what I would recommend for anyone in general. For months 1 through 6, I want you to focus on building your foundation. Get your credit report from all 3 credit bureaus and start addressing any issues. Open a dedicated savings account for your home fund. Even if you start with just $50 a month, y'all, we gotta start putting some money away. Start tracking your current spending to understand where your money goes. I'm telling you, if you look at it, it will surprise you. Begin researching neighborhoods and getting familiar with home prices. Now, from months 7 through 12, shift your focus to credit and savings. Work on paying down high interest debt, especially credit cards. Increase your home fund contribution as you pay off other debts. Get pre-qualified with a lender to understand what you can actually afford. Start attending some open houses to understand the market and look and see what's out there to see what it is you actually want. And then from months 13 through 18, move into serious preparation mode. Get fully pre-approved for a mortgage. Have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses in emergency funds separate from your down payment. Research first-time home buyer programs and VA loan benefits if you're in the military. Start working with a realtor, me, who understands your timeline and your goals. And then from months 19 through 24, you're market ready. Begin actively house hunting with a clear criteria. Understand total cost of home ownership for any home you consider. Have your financing, your down payment, and your closing costs ready. And be prepared to make a move when you find the right opportunity. If you're self-employed like me, start organizing your financial documentation now. Lenders are going to be much harder on people who are self-employed, and they're going to want to see 2 years of consistent income. So keeping detailed records and working with an accountant to ensure your tax returns accurately reflect your earning capacity. If you're in the military, take advantage of VA loan benefits, 0 down payments, no PMI, competitive rates. But understand that no down payment doesn't mean no cost. You're still going to need money for inspections, appraisals, closing costs, and your moving expenses. Friends, the key is to be patient but intentional. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity like I did, but don't rush into something that you're not prepared for either. And sometimes, even when you follow the plan perfectly, life is gonna throw you some curveballs. And so I want you to just think that when we're thinking what's gonna happen over the next 24 months, if you're on a 24-month timeline, everybody won't need 24 months. Some people might need 3 to 6 months. Some people might need up to a year. Some people might need longer than 2 years or more. Some people might need 2 years or longer. But whatever your journey is, the thing is that I want to get across to you is that you have to make a decision that you want to become a homeowner. Once you made that decision, you have to understand that no matter what obstacle comes your way, you're not going to just throw the dream away because life happens. You're going to continue to lay the foundation. You're going to continue to stay the course and going to continue to go off a checklist. One of the things that I specialize in with my clients is having a real in-depth buyer consultation with them. I understand exactly where they are, what their dreams are, what their goals are, and we literally create a month-by-month plan, and they check in with me every single month to let me know how they're doing and what they're checking off of their list. So having the right support, having the right real estate agent who really cares about you and who's actually walked in your shoes can make all the difference in the world. If you're ready to have a true conversation about what home ownership could possibly look like for you, all you've got to do is get in touch. Hopefully you can see through my videos, I'm super down to earth. I'm funny sometimes, but I really do care about you, and I really do care about helping you achieve your home ownership goals. All you have to do is get in touch. You can DM me or you can text me at 757-837-0096. I'm telling you this now, and I'll tell you this throughout your journey. You got this. With faith, anything is possible.
Okay, so y'all know I love a good story, right? Especially when it all comes together. So let me tell you about a client who found me on Zillow, and she just closed on her first home last week. When I tell you she is a true testament of faith in action and proof that God's delay is not his denial. Now, when she came to me, she'd already been working with a different realtor. She'd already been through 2 or 3 lenders who kept giving her nothing but hills to climb. Now, let me tell you, she was a super prepared client. She had done the work. She got her credit together. She made a plan. She had crazy faith, and she prayed. But at every turn, it looked like she was not going to be able to get her house. And then the Lord really stepped in. Y'all, she contacted me. She was very transparent with me about her journey, what her goals and her dreams were. And honestly, we just locked our faith together. And all I can say is, won't he do it? Because God did it every single step of the way. When I tell you every door was closing on her in spite of all the work she put in, but we finally got our keys. Lenders told her no, they wouldn't qualify her for the amount that she needed. And after people who were working with her ghosted her and stopped responding to her, God just decided to move every obstacle out of the way. And she was like, well done, because she stayed the course. We prayed through every challenge and we kept our faith through it all. And these are the types of stories that help me stay encouraged when it gets hard for me to stay the course. She overcame her challenges. She prepared herself mentally, spiritually, and financially, and she was victorious. So I want to congratulate her again and publicly thank her for choosing me to be a part of her real estate journey. This is why I'm so passionate about not just helping you buy a house, but helping you buy the right house at the right time for your situation. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's not just about the sale. It's really about building relationships, locking our faith, keeping the faith, honoring God, trusting God, and truly helping families achieve their dreams the right way. So if this story encourages you, or if you need prayer for your home buying journey, all you have to do is just drop a comment and let me know. I got your back, because I truly believe that God has a plan for your family, just like he has a plan for all of the other families that I've been blessed to work with. You can drop me a comment, you can DM me, or you can text me at 757-837-0096. I'd love to have the opportunity to celebrate your success story in the near future.
Friends, here's what I want you to understand. Home ownership isn't just about having a place to live. It's about creating stability for your family, building wealth for your future, and giving your children the foundation that they need to succeed. The American dream isn't dead, but it does require intention, preparation, and sometimes the courage to start before you feel completely ready. So whether you're ready to buy now or if you're starting your 2-year preparation journey, I want you to know that your timeline is your timeline. Don't let anyone pressure you into moving faster than is right for you and for your family. But also, please don't let fear keep you stuck in a rental cycle that's costing you thousands of dollars every single year. And if you're in the military, remember that your service has earned you the incredible benefits that make home ownership more accessible. If you're self-employed, yes, it may be a little bit harder, but it's absolutely possible with the right preparation, the right documentation, and the right team by your side. Now, if you want to learn more about how home ownership is more than real estate, it's about creating generational wealth. It's about being a good steward. And most importantly, it's about God's promises. Make sure you check out my new book, Home Ownership God's Way. You can grab it on Amazon or just reach out to me directly. I'll get you a signed copy. So friends, if you're ready to start that journey, I definitely want to be your guide. Not because I've done it perfectly, but because I've walked that path right alongside you. All you have to do is get in touch, and you can reach me at 757-837-0096. Friends, listen, comment below and let me know, are you team rent or team buy right now? Or what's your biggest challenge or obstacle that you need to overcome in order to become a homeowner? I read every single comment, and I want to help you move forward, whatever that looks like for you and your family. Friends, I truly appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not already subscribed to our channel, what are you waiting for? Please hit the like button. Please give it a thumbs up. Definitely leave a comment. And guys, why are you not subscribed yet? Again, I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. I'll definitely see you in the next video, and God bless you.